Lee is my first name, yeah. I guess my mother must have known that I would live in Hong Kong at some point in my life, maybe. I'd been to Hong Kong as a tourist in 1993, so when Kai Tak Airport was still open. I think Hong Kong is one of those places that just gets you the minute you land. You don't really need to do anything. You can just stand there in the street and feel energized and feel excited by the city. And I thought, right, I have to come back one day.
The next stop is Tartan Tree Drive.
50幾歲嚟自倫敦嘅精算師李福立，終於喺2011年兌現咗對自己嘅承諾，揾到一間英資保險公司嘅工作，移居咗香港。不過不出1年，佢就睇清楚香港保險界嘅弊病。
I gave up the job because money is not everything.
雖然 quit 咗份工，但係佢選擇留低，自己建立公司，從事英文教育同埋財務健康推廣嘅工作。喺上環海味街建立咗自己嘅辦公室。
I used to come here for lunch. Unfortunately, it seems to be under renovation, but it has really good siumei.
住過4年堅尼地城，6年前佢搬咗入南丫島。
I have this wonderful view every day. It's a great place. It's quiet. The people here are very nice. My landlord hasn't increased the price for 4 years, but he's a good guy.
但佢冇成為香港人眼中嗰種離地鬼佬。佢食黃店買阿布泰，比好多土生土長嘅香港人更加貼地。
Well, this is a very famous yellow restaurant in Lumber Island, and at the end of the block there is another yellow restaurant. I'm the kind of person that I can't just go and live in a city and have a holiday-style expat lifestyle and treat everything that's going on around me as something foreign. I think if a place gives me a home and allows me to make my home there, then I have a responsibility to look after it.
李福立喺2020年立法會選舉仲未被取消嘅時候，佢聯同多位反對派候選人同而家現任嘅功能組別議員競爭。佢用精算師嘅專業出戰保險界功能組別，對抗2度自動當選嘅建制派陳健波。
I'm Lee Faulkner, and I'm counting on you. Thank you. Of the insurance industry in Hong Kong, it needs to move on. It's stuck in the 1980s. It uses a distribution method which has been outlawed in most of the rest of the world. It sells extremely expensive policies and products to people who don't need them. I wanted to have an insurance sector that looks after people in the way that it's supposed to look after people and not look after corporations. We have an insurance industry that makes huge amounts of money for certain companies, but leaves 2/3 of the population completely uninsured. So many people told me that they supported me, that they supported the platform, that they wanted to have an election, that it was great that somebody finally was standing as a candidate. But then many companies said they just couldn't vote for me because their corporations wouldn't let them.
Have you ever met Chen Ken-po?
No. I don't want to either. Not at that time, no. I wanted to stay and I wanted to make a difference. And if Carrie Lam had not cancelled the election because she knew she was going to lose, if neither of those things had happened and I had got the nominations, then I would have been entitled to a debate. But primarily I get involved because I have a sense of responsibility to the place I live in. From my mouth, from my ability to write, from my willingness to get involved, and from my sense of duty.
有咁大程度嘅社會參與，源於李福立早已經把香港視為家。
I think the best definition of home is when you go away and you come back, that you feel happy to be back.
Is Hong Kong your home?
Yes. I can remember in 2012 going overseas for a trip and coming back to Hong Kong and being in the airport and hearing 成日升扶手，停人一扶手 and please hold the handrail in the airport and feeling very, very at home just by hearing that. Strange little things like that. But I would say that for the last 6, 7, 8 years, I've been thinking that I would like to retire in Hong Kong, yes. I like the convenience, I like the food, I like the people, I like the weather 8 months of the year. I despise the ruling class of people in this city, the kind of arrogance and looking down on people who are their customers. That's what I dislike about it.
住喺香港呢個屋企嘅10年間，佢同香港人一齊經歷咗呢個城市最動盪、最關鍵嘅時刻。
28th of September, standing outside a KFC and thinking, this is frightening, this is really scary, this stinks, and then running away, or moving further and further away as people were moving away. Yeah. And then I thought after the first day of the tear gas, when everything started to be quiet, it just seemed to become normal again. And then it became very long and protracted and went on for 79 days. I can remember it very well. I can remember standing in Admiralty and watching it happen, feeling very, very depressed.
李福立都曾經同唔少香港人一樣，認為可以用自己嘅力量去打到高牆，但係無奈咁只係與日俱增。
2019 was much more widespread. Some people I used to work with, Westerners, they had never been on a protest in their lives, but they went on the anti-extradition protests in 2019 because they knew that the fundamental qualities and laws of Hong Kong were going to change, that the city would be changed irrevocably for the worse. And now all we have are these grotesque monstrosities stopping us getting anywhere near our legislative council. I thought the purpose of a legislature was to represent the people, not to block them. I think we are never again going to be allowed to have a protest in Hong Kong.
曾經以為會喺香港終老，因為政治環境嘅改變，因為港區國安法嘅落實，佢亦都同好多人一樣，有咗離開嘅打算。
My current plan is to go to Taiwan for 6 months and then to move back to the UK. I think we have now run out of options, that we now have a situation where there is nothing that anybody can do anymore to preserve this city. There is now no mechanism for people to make their voice heard. Even about the electoral changes themselves, they were saying, oh, but we're listening to the people. Well, that's complete crap. I asked for a meeting with the liaison office to give my point of view about this. It didn't happen, and yet they gave the opportunity to Starry Lee Wai King, who actually, when she was asked, she said she didn't have any opinions. So I had an opinion, I wanted to give my opinion. I think it's absurd, completely absurd. There is no way that you can say that 40 out of 70 seats which were directly elected before, being reduced now to 20 out of 90, is progress towards universal suffrage. That is not progress, that is the opposite of progress. The people who will be in the Legislative Council in the future will be answerable to the people who put them there, and the people who put them there is Beijing, not us.
Do you feel insecure having this interview and expressing your feelings?
Yes, I do, yes. I think many people do feel insecure. I think most people are coping with this law by self-censoring. Self-censorship is worse than censorship. Having a red line that nobody understands properly and that in theory could be adjusted according to whatever the government wanted means that everybody is doing the government's censorship job for them by self-censoring. And that is extremely dangerous.
佢到而家仲堅持緊每2、3個星期就將意見信寄俾林鄭月娥。
She occasionally makes some comment, but usually it's I have no comment to make. I don't think fundamentally she's a bad person. I think she's a weak person. At the various points in history where she has had the chance to speak up for Hong Kongers, to defend Hong Kongers and to defend Hong Kong, she has failed completely. And she does not represent Hong Kongers.
對於離開與否，佢都經歷咗一輪掙扎。如果你愛呢個地方，應唔應該離佢而去呢？
I think the future will be the one country, two systems in name only, the complete mainlandization of the city, the destruction of all of the values that made it great, trying to whitewash its history. At the moment, I don't see a future for Hong Kong. I think there is a future, but it's not a future that I share. I feel very sad to go. I don't want to go, but I can't stay in a place where I feel insecure all the time. I think when I look at all the people who are leaving, then I feel very sorry for them. Why do people want to do that? The fact that people feel that they have to move overseas in order to be able to live a normal life. So if I feel that I can make a difference by staying here, then I would stay here. I think the chances of my being able to make a difference now are zero. So therefore, what's the point?
今次離開，李福立都話唔知道將來仲能唔能夠毫無顧忌咁樣再次踏足香港。
I will miss Hong Kong immensely. Hong Kong has been a very important part of my life for 10 years. You can't live in a place for 10 years and not have very strong roots. I feel very, very, very involved in this city. So yes, I've gone and come back. I still never really left here, and my heart was still here. I was following things every day, so it was like a temporary move back. But a permanent move away will be a big wrench for me, and that worries me. So part of me doesn't want to come back because I don't want to have bad memories, I want to have good memories.
記得訂閱果子啦，仲要撳埋個鐘仔添啊！